Hello and welcome to our first live session of the chapter Motion. Today we are going to talk about some basic terms and some important aspect of what motion is. So when we talk about motion, we always think that something which is moving with respect to another object is simply being in motion, right? And we also know, and you must have studied in your previous classes, we have two states. One state is the state of rest and another one is the state of motion. So we all know that any object in this universe can either be in the state of rest or it can be in the state of motion. So these are the two states which are possible, right? When we talk about the state of rest, it is when any object is not moving with respect to another object, we are at rest. So suppose if we are sitting at a place and we are reading, we are not moving, that means we are in a state of rest. On the other hand, when we talk about motion, any object which is moving with respect to another object is being said as to be in motion. Any object which is moving with respect to another object is said to be in motion. So if I'm running, if we are walking, we are hopping, we are moving, we are walking, we are supposed to be in motion. So any object can be either at rest or in motion, right? Now, this is the basics that we all know. Is this state of motion or of rest real? So suppose we have a train and the train is moving. Okay, and you're sitting inside the train. Now, there is a friend of yours who's also sitting next to you. Suppose the train just crosses, any station midway. So suppose this is the station here. Now, for any passenger who is actually standing on the station, what would it look like? Are you moving with respect to him? What will he feel, this passenger who is standing on the platform? He will feel that you are moving along with your friend. So both of you are moving. But no, you two are not moving. You two are rest. Is this state of motion or state of rest really? Is it real? So it all depends on the observer. It all depends on who is observing you. When your friend who is sitting just right next to you in the train is observing you, that means you're not moving. But when a person who's standing on a platform is trying to observe you, that means he will feel that you are in motion. So it doesn't matter whether you are at rest or you are in motion. It all depends on who is the observer. What is the reference? Okay? If suppose you are standing at a position, let's say, and we are actually sitting at a particular place, so we are not moving practically. So to our friends, to our teachers and whoever is observing us, we are at rest. We are sitting comfortably in the classroom. But if suppose you have a friend who is in some other planet and, just take a hypothetical case that he is in some planet and he is able to watch you from this planet. So, or suppose he is on moon. Okay. So he is able to watch you. So what will he feel? He will feel that because the earth is continuously, rotating, that's why he will also feel that you are also in motion and you are not at rest. However, to your friends who are sitting next to you, to your teachers who are observing you, you are comfortably sitting in a classroom. So that's why I said this state of motion or the state of rest is all an illusion and it all depends on who is observing you. What is the reference? Is it okay? So this is just to make you analyze and make you think that whatever you believe, the state of motion or state of rest, isn't actually true. Okay? But as of now, as far as your current class is concerned, you can take this definition as any object which is moving with respect to another object is said to be in motion, and any object which is at rest with respect to another object is at rest. Fine? Now let's also go over some of the terms that you may come across, while going through the chapter. So there are various types of motion that you are going to study. The first type of motion is circulatory motion. What is a circulatory motion? Any object when he goes around a circle is said to be in a circular motion. So simply, circulatory motion, which means any object when it is in a circle, it is said to be circulatory motion. Okay, the next is periodic motion. Periodic motion means any motion which repeats itself after a regular interval of time, which happens after a regular interval of time. Okay, that is a periodic motion. Next is the linear motion, which is self-explanatory, because linear motion is something which is traveling in a straight line. So any motion in a straight line is said to be a straight motion. So you may be, coming across all these terms while, going through the chapter. So it's very important to just go through these. Now again, here we have some important terms, scalar quantity and vector quantity. Now what is scalar and what is vector? See, every quantity, whenever we talk about a certain quantity, any physical quantity may have two things. First is a magnitude and another one is a direction. So I'll give you some examples. Let's say speed here. So when I say speed means distance upon time. So suppose an object is going at, he has traveled 100 kilometers in 1 hour. So what is the speed of the object? The speed of the object is 100 kilometer per hour. Okay. So now 100 kilometer per hour only tells us that the object was going at 100 kilometers per hour speed. It doesn't tell us that in which direction is the object going. So this 100, this value that we are being given is nothing but the magnitude of the object. Okay, magnitude of the speed of the object. So at what speed the object was going? The object was going at 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, it doesn't tell us which direction, north, south, east, west, nothing is being told. Similarly, distance. Suppose I have traveled 2 kilometers or let's say 20 kilometers, okay, or 20 miles. So it is only telling me that I have traveled only this much distance. It is telling me again about the magnitude. Magnitude means the value. Okay, it is not telling me in which direction have I traveled so much of distance. Is it clear? So any such quantity which only gives me a magnitude is called as a scalar quantity, which only tells me the number. Okay, fine. Suppose you score 100 out of 100 in your exam. So that 100 becomes a magnitude. Okay. Let's see what is vector quantity. Vector quantity is a quantity which has magnitude as well as direction in it. So apart from it will tell us the magnitude also, but apart from the magnitude, it is also going to tell us the direction. What is velocity? Suppose if I tell you that the same object has traveled 100 kilometers per hour towards north. Okay, it has gone 100 kilometers per hour towards north. So now it gives me two information. 100 kilometers per hour, so it tells me about the speed, the magnitude, and also it tells me in which direction is the object going, is the body going. So I have two information. Okay, two pieces of information I have collected. So any quantity which gives us both the magnitude as well as the direction is called as a vector quantity. And about speed, velocity, distance and displacement we are going to study in the coming sessions. Okay. Now let us just learn about distance and displacement in detail. So let's say here I'll tell you the situation. We have 2 points. One is point A here and point B. And from point A to point B, let's say you start walking from point A to point B. Okay. Now you can go from point A to point B by many ways. So first way and the easiest way to go from point A to point B is to go directly, right? And let's say the direct distance between the 2 points is 60 kilometers, right? Now you do not decide to take the shortest way, but you decide to take the longer route. So you go something like this, you go around the country and then you land up at point B. And let's say this longer distance that you take is not 60 kilometers, but it is 600 kilometers which you have traveled here, right? So the shortest path you could have covered it in 60 kilometers, but you plan to take the longer route and you have covered 600 kilometers and you have reached point B. Now, the distance that you have traveled. You have traveled 600 kilometers is what you have traveled. So that becomes your distance. But what is displacement? Displacement is the shortest path, or you can say displacement is the difference between the final and the initial point. What is the initial point of the object? Initial point was this A. Now the object has gone around the entire country, and now what is the final point for the object? The final point is B. So the difference between the initial point and the final point will give you the displacement. So what is the displacement here? 60. Okay, the displacement is 60. So now do you understand what is the difference between distance and displacement? Distance is the actual path traveled by the body. However, displacement is the difference between the final and the initial point. Okay, let's just look at some more examples. Look at this example. Now again, there's a circular ground, and let's say you start from this point A. Point A is right on the top here, as you see. This is the starting point of the object. Okay, and let's say that object starts moving like this, goes around the periphery, the circumference, and then comes to A. Okay, he takes 10 such rounds. 10 such rounds he take. Okay, now the radius of this ground, let's say, is r meters. Okay, so now you have to tell me what is the distance and what is the displacement. Okay, if this is the initial point, A is actually the initial point, and let's say after taking 10 rounds the object stops here. Okay, so this is the final position. This is the final, B is the final position here. What is the circumference of the circle? The circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, r is the radius. So he has taken 10 rounds. So it will be 20 pi r distance. If I give you the value of r, you can substitute and tell me what is the actual distance. So he has traveled 10 complete circles, plus he has also, like, this is like 1, then again 2, then again 3. Like this, he has completed 10 circles. He has come from here and again taken 1/2 circle, and he stopped at B. Okay, he stopped at B. So you also have to add, see, it is 2 pi r, so you have to add pi r. Why? Because 2 pi r is complete, so pi r will be 1/2 circle. 20 pi r plus pi r. So the total distance that he has traveled is 21 pi r. Now let's see what is the displacement here. Your displacement will be, as I told you, the difference between the final and the initial point. Okay, so basically this distance, okay, this distance is going to be your displacement. So what is this distance? It's just the diameter. So it will be r plus r, which will be 2r. So 2r is going to be your displacement. Is it clear? So in the case of a circle, the distance is the actual path traveled. However, displacement is just the difference between A and B point, which is initial and the final point. So I have told you about any straight path, any curved path, any circular path. Okay, let's just see one last example here. Again, the situation is that a person starts from A, so A is the starting point. He travels 8 kilometers and reaches B. Okay, so he travels towards north here. Fine. Then he turns towards east and he reaches point C. He travels 6 kilometers. Fine. So first he travels 8 kilometers towards north and then 6 kilometers towards east. So my question is, what is the distance and what is the displacement? So in this case, what is the distance? Distance will be actual path traveled 8 plus 6, which is 14 kilometers. Okay, so he goes like this and then he turns east. But what is the displacement? Displacement is the difference between the initial point, which is A, and the final point, which is C. So the difference between these 2 points will be actually this distance. How will you calculate this distance? Isn't it a right angle triangle? So what you can do is you can apply the Pythagoras theorem here and you can calculate. Okay, so your AC will be equal to root of 8 square plus 6 square. You have to just apply the Pythagoras theorem here, right? So 6 square. Fine. So if you calculate this, you will be getting 8. You will be getting the displacement. So I'm sure all of you now understood what is distance and displacement. Okay. Let's see some of the difference between distance and displacement. So what is distance? It is the actual path traveled by the body. However, displacement is the difference between the final and the initial point. Right? So the first point is this only. Look at the second point. The second point says that distance cannot be 0. Why can't the distance be 0? Because if a body is traveling, the distance can never be 0. It has to be something, whether it is, less or it is more, but it has to be something if the body is traveling, right? So it cannot be 0 first of all. And because a body is traveling, the distance is always positive. It can never be negative. Correct? But look at displacement. Displacement can be 0. It can be positive. It can be negative also. Now here I want to ask you a question. How can you say that displacement can be 0? Now suppose if the object goes around in a circle, starts from this point A. Okay, he starts from the point A. Goes around, let's say 100 circles, 100 rounds, and then comes back at the same point A. So what is going to be the displacement? Displacement is final minus initial. It is going to be 0 because he has not changed his position, isn't it? So that's why displacement can be 0. Displacement can be positive. It can be negative also. Suppose if a person goes like this and then turns back in the opposite direction, then it has to be negative also. Suppose if he comes back and goes like this was the starting point, A was the starting point. So he crosses the starting point, he comes here at B. So it is going to be negative also, isn't it? Okay. Now, and look at the last point here. The last point is the distance is a scalar quantity because no one is bothered about the direction in case of distance. We can just say that I traveled 50 kilometers. Okay, I traveled how much distance have you traveled? I have traveled 50 kilometers. So we are not talking about the direction. We are only talking about the magnitude. However, in the case of displacement, we always say that I have moved 50 kilometers per hour towards north or towards east. So this is your vector quantity. Vector means it has got both magnitude plus direction. Both magnitude plus direction. But in this case, it has only magnitude. Fine. So is the difference between the distance and displacement clear to you?